So let's summarize the challenges of all of this for SAM teams. I'm going to go through a few of these. You already mentioned that some of these apps will not be detected by modern SAM tools. They either don't exist long enough to be scanned, or they're simply not visible because you can't peer inside the container that's running the software. That will depend on what your SAM tool is able to support. So you need to really go and have a look and see what it can and cannot do. We do see vendors changing licensing models. APIs get withdrawn and amended. Not so much in the corporate world, but actually this is a big impact for companies who are in the fitness space. Just this week, Strava, who are probably the number one fitness tracking app in the world, certainly for cycling, which is what I used to do. Strava have just pulled their APIs, so anyone who's connected into the Strava ecosystem and doing cool things with data can no longer do that. Back what was a couple of years ago now, Twitter did something similar when it was still Twitter, I think, just about in revoking API access as well. So these are big challenges. If you're building a business around those things or API changes, then it's a big deal. It's going to break your application, might not work as intended, so you need to keep an eye on it. And you've got these very ephemeral applications, and as I've mentioned, things that living for seconds and maybe minutes at most. You need to know whether that API is going to remain available, as I just mentioned, and also pay close attention to citizen development as well. So citizen development is your end users using APIs and no-code, low-code things to pull things together, to build things, but maybe not necessarily in the best way. There's always scope for things to be done wrong in terms of maybe error tracking or improper use of data, or just the fact they're not trained developers. I'm sure there are plenty of people in departments who are really good developers who aren't developers by trade, but you do have to be careful. We'll also just touch on open source risks as well. This is a bigger area than this webinar can really cover. But if you're using open source libraries in applications, you need to pay attention to their code hygiene in terms of, are they being well developed? Have they got vulnerabilities?